What is the future value of a 5-year investment of $3,000 at an APR of 7% compounded quarterly? So go ahead. And then if you want to join in, the game pin is on the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, you just go to kahoot.it in your browser or on your device and enter the game pin 109226 in that bottom right-hand corner. Think, what kind of question is this? What is your given information?
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and go because okay. There's a few.
There you go.
Okay.
They're cruising in. They're good.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a few different answers for this one, so I'll go ahead and go over it. So the future value of a 5-year investment of $3,000 at an APR of 7% compounded quarterly. So for this one, even though it says future value, that can kind of throw you off, but just know that we just have to use the regular compound interest formula for this one. And our future value can just be our amount after the compounding periods, and our present value is just, think of it as like a principal. In this case, our principal would be 3,000. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 1 plus the APR, which is 7% over 12. And then our n times y up here, and our n is 12 times however many years. And since it was 5 years,
Should it be 12, or how many times is it compounded per year?
Oh, my bad. I didn't see this.
No worries.
The quarterly. Okay, so yeah, if it was compounded yearly, it would have been 12. But since it's compounded quarterly, n is actually 4. And so in that case, for the exponent, it's going to be 4 times 5. Yeah, my bad. And so yeah, when you calculate that in the calculator, I always like to put an extra parentheses after the exponent. This is a compound interest formula. So just principal 1 plus APR over n, and then n times y. And that would give us our balance. And in this case, our future value is our balance, and then our principal is this is technically our present value. That's what we're at right now. So yeah. If there's any other question, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. If not, I would go to the next one. Okay. And this is a compound interest formula, by the way. Yeah. All right, next question. You're invested $2,800 at an APR of 8%. Use the rule of 72 to find out how long it will be until your investment reaches 11,200. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the answer. All right, so most of you guys did, or did you guys chose 6? Okay, so I'll go ahead and go over this one. So the rule of 72 basically gives you the amount of years it's going to take for your amount in your account to double. And in this case, the formula is 72 divided by your APR. And you leave your APR as a whole number. You don't have to turn it into a decimal. So in this case, to find out how much it would take for our account to double once, you put 72 divided by 8, since 8% is our APR, and that gives us 9. So it takes 9 years for our account to double once. So 2,800 doubling once would give us 5,600. That'd be doubling once. And if we double that again, it would give us 11,200. So it takes 9 years to double once, but it takes 18 years to double twice, or to get to 11,200.
So the 6 of you who chose 9, that was certainly the next best answer, because you recognize, okay, rule of 72, I know that I divide the 72 by the APR to get the number of years, but they could ask you a trick question like more than one doubling period.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember the answer to number 1? Joey, I can pull that for you if it's not easily accessible.
I think it's 4,244 and 33 cents.
Oh, cool.
So I have it written down right in the chat.
Thank you, Nadia.
Yep. And is there any other questions about this one before I go into the next one?
Right on. I'm going to post the attendance survey to the chat. Fill that out whenever you get a chance. But I'll let you keep on keeping on.
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, deposits of $20 into a savings account with monthly compounding for 4 years. Use the lower bound estimate.
Key here is, what is the lower bound estimate? How do we know how much will at least be in our account? Stephen asks, will this recording be posted? Yes, I will put this recording on our YouTube channel, the STEM-SC YouTube channel. You can request a link to the recording by emailing me at tryback@csum.edu. I'll put that in the chat again. And it'll be on our YouTube. So if you look up STEM-SC Exam 3 review, it'll be there, but for an exact link, you can just reach out to me. So cool. For anyone who's joining later or maybe lost connection, the game pin, if you go to kahoot.it, the game pin is in the bottom right-hand corner and is 109226.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on to the next one. Okay, so most of you guys did get 960. But I probably will go over it since there was a little bit of different answers. So for the lower bound estimate, it's going to be 12 times y times your initial amount. B of O just means your initial amount. In this case, 12 times our years, which was 4, times our initial amount of $20. And that gives us $960. And the reason we're doing 12 times 4, that just represents, okay, there's 12 months in a year, and we're doing it for 4 years. So that would be 48 months that we're giving $28 or $20. And that's why it's kind of a lower bound estimate of how much money we would have in our account. So yeah, if there's any questions about that, go and put them in the chat. If not, I'll go ahead and go to the next one. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions, so I'll go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, how much should you deposit monthly for 3 years into a savings account with 6.5% APR to buy a car that costs $30,000? So how much should you deposit monthly? So think about that. How much should you deposit? I think the formula for upper bound is just your rate times your initial. I'm pretty sure, Trevor, if you want to check me on that.
I think that is correct. I'm going to double check on it as well, but I think that's correct because it's saying, because basically you're having this interest increase over time. Let me double check on that. I think you're right. It's like the amount over the rate. I think it's like your principal over the APR. Let me double check.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on. Okay, so we did get some mixed answers, so I'll go ahead and go over this one. So for this one's asking you how much should you deposit monthly for 3 years? So when we see how much should you deposit, we're trying to find our needed monthly deposit. And we have a goal of 30,000. So I'll go ahead and write the formula. Needed monthly deposit formula. So it's gonna be our goal times our APR over 12. And all that is going to be divided by our 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the n times y minus 1. So in this case, like I said, our goal is 30,000. So we can go ahead and put 30,000 here. And that would be multiplied by our APR over 12, or APR is 6.5. And that is all going to be divided by. And then I'm writing it with the parentheses as to how I would plug it into a calculator. And 12. I like to do the n times y before I plug it in. So in this case, our n is 12. And then our y was 3 years. So 12 times 3 is 36. Close parentheses, minus 1. Yeah, I like to do that one first. Kind of just makes it easier so there's less parentheses in there. But yeah, that's how I would set it up in my calculator. And then once you get that, you get 756 and 97 cents. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or feel free to unmute. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll go ahead and go to the next one. All right. A friend tells you that her savings account doubled in 6 years. Use the rule of 72 to find what her account's APR was. So you know how much it took, how many years it took to double, but now it's asking you to find the APR. So how would you set this up? And someone had a question for the Kahoot. So if you want to join, it's in the bottom right-hand corner. It's over here. So yeah, just so you guys know, if anyone else wants to join. All right. Okay, so most of you guys did get this one, but I'll go ahead and go over it since there was a few different answers. So the rule of 72, we did another problem with 72 divided by APR. That gives us our rule of 72. And in this case, we knew that the doubling time was 6 years. So we could set that equal to the rule of 72 formula to find APR. So we want to get APR by itself. So we can get it out of the denominator. Got to do it to both sides. So we have APR times 6 is equal to 72. And then to get APR by itself, we just go ahead and divide by 6. So APR is going to be 72 divided by 6, which in that case is 12. And that's why our APR is 12%. So yeah, we're setting it up differently because we're trying to find the APR. So that's why, yeah, go ahead and do that. So yeah, if there's any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If not, I will go ahead and go on to the next one.
I'm responding to Kylie's question earlier. What formula is for upper bound of a loan? I checked, there isn't a formula, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't appear that there's a formula for the upper bound of a loan. There are, however, formulas for the short-term and long-term value of an investment. So, and I will include those in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on to the next one then. Right. Okay, you borrowed $19,000 with a term of 4 years at an APR of 7% to buy a truck. How much total interest is paid? So this one is a little bit of a tricky question, but kind of break it up first. You're gonna want to find how much you're paying monthly to then find how much interest you're going to pay total. So I don't know if that gives a little bit of help. Yeah, thanks for asking the answering the question. The last answer was 12%. Yes, there is an attendance link, and I think Trevor will probably post it in the chat.
I was muted. Yeah, I'll post in the chat right now. Yeah, please fill out the attendance link whenever you guys get the chance. And thank you for asking. And we're coming up on almost 3 p.m. So if you have to leave at 3 p.m., please fill out the attendance link before you go. Thank you. But this ends at 4. So we still have plenty of time. I just wanted to mention.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on. All right, so we did get a few of the right answers, but we'll go ahead and go over it regardless because it's a little bit of a hard problem. So we're borrowing $19,000 with the term of 4 years at an APR of 7% to buy a truck. How much total interest is paid? So first we're gonna want to find our monthly payment to see how much we are paying monthly for this loan. And that formula is going to be your amount that you borrow times APR over 12 times 1 plus APR over 12 to the n times y. And then all of that is going to be divided by 1 plus APR over 12 n times y, and then minus 1. So when we go ahead and plug everything in, our amount that we borrowed was $19,000. Our APR is 7%. So we can go and fill it in. Our n is 12, and our y is going to be 4 years. And it's going to be all divided by 1 plus 0.07 over 12. 12 times 4. And then minus 1. So in this case, when we do that, we find that it gives us $454.98. So we're paying $454.98 for 1 month, per month. And the amount of months that we're doing this for is for 48 months. Because for 4 years, there are 48 months in 4 years. So for 48 months, we're paying $454. And if we calculate that, 454.98 times 48, that gives us 21,839.04. So total, we paid around 21,839.04, but we only borrowed $19,000 initially. So that's why we have to subtract it in order to find how much interest we paid. And then once we do that, that gives us 2,838.98. I think I might have a rounding error maybe, but that would help. Yeah. So you pay $2,838 in interest when you borrowed $19,000.
That's actually a really good point. With this is try to avoid rounding if you can. I know it's a little bit of calculator work, and sometimes can feel tedious, but rounding mid calculation can throw off your answers. And I want you to be able to get the full value of each question on the exam. So it's a good learning point or thing to note.
All right, and does anyone have any questions about this one? I know it was a long problem. If not, I'll go ahead and go on to the next one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next one. Clear that. Okay. Assume a CD purchase for $10,000 pays an APR of 10% compounded semi-annually. What is the APY? Round to 2 decimal places. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so most of you guys did get the right answer. I think there was maybe a rounding error in the APR, but I'll go ahead and go over it. So this one, we're gonna use the APY formula. And that is going to be 1 plus our APR over n raised to the n minus 1. So this is our formula when we want to find our APY when we're given our APR. So given this, our APR is 10%, compounded semi-annually, which means n is going to be 2, because we're compounding twice a year. Raise that to the exponent of 2 minus 1, and that gives us 10.25%. And when you're rounding from a decimal to a percent, you always want to go 2 places to the right. And yeah, usually a trick for me, I like to think about it, the APR and APY are going to be quite similar to each other as far as like the percentages. So like the APR was 10% and APY is going to be a little bit bigger than that. So 10.25%, but they're around in the 10 range. So that's a kind of a good way to like check your answer when you're going through these ones. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If not, I'll go ahead and go to the next one. All right, I'll go ahead and go on. Okay, number 8, a fund pays an APR of 4.4% compounded monthly for 18 years. How much will you deposit monthly to reach $30,000? So looking for how much will you deposit monthly to reach $30,000? So what formula will we need for this one? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go this one. All right, so we got a few of our answers, a few different answers. So we'll just go ahead and go over it. A fund pays an APR of 4.4% compounded monthly for 18 years. How much will you deposit monthly to reach 30,000? So we're trying to get to $30,000, and they're saying, okay, how much money will we need to deposit in order to get that in 18 years? So we're gonna have to use the needed monthly deposit formula. I always try to look at the question and think about like what they're asking of. So in this case, how much will you deposit monthly? So in that case, needed monthly deposit. That's kind of how you differentiate which formula to use. In this case, it's going to be our goal times APR over 12. All of that is going to be divided by our 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the exponent of n times y minus 1. So we go ahead and plug everything in. Our goal was $30,000. Our APR is 4.4%. And then go ahead and divide everything by our 1 plus APR over 12 raised to n times y. In this case, our n is 12. And our y is going to be 18 years. So I like to solve that beforehand before putting it in, and that's 216. So 216 and then minus 1. So we go ahead and solve that. We get $91.32. So we need to deposit $91.32 for 216 months in order to get to $30,000. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If not, I'll go ahead and move on.
Well, we have about 30 people in here. I just want to post that attendance link. Go ahead and fill that out when you guys get a chance. We have about 11 responses, so I just want to make sure we capture the rest of y'all. Okay, I'll let you get back to it. Sorry.
All right, if there's no questions, I'll go ahead and go on. Okay, assume an 18-month CD purchased for $7,000 pays an APR of 6% compounded monthly. What is the APY? Round to decimal places. So always making sure to kind of see, okay, what are they asking me? And in this case, they're asking for the APY. So what formula would we need for that? All right. All right, so you guys all got the same answer, but I know there's a lot of people that probably didn't answer, so I'll go over it. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and go over it. So this one, it's asking what is the APY? So our APY formula, again, is going to be 1 plus APR over n raised to the n minus 1. And in this case, our APR is going to be 6%. Compounded monthly, so we can leave it as 12. Our n is 12 minus 1, and then when you go ahead and do that, you get 6.17%. And remember, rounding from a decimal to percent, just go ahead and go 2 times to the right from the decimal point. So if there's any questions, if not, I can go ahead and go into the next one. I know most of you guys got that right, so I'll just go ahead and go on to the next one. Okay, you invest 2,500 into an account that pays an APR of 6%. What's the value after 4 years if interest is compounded yearly? So you're investing a certain amount and you're trying to find what the value is after you compound it yearly for 4 years. So we're putting some amount in our account and we're trying to find how much we would have after 4 years. Formula, what do we need for this one? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. All right, so we did get a few different answers. So for this one, we're investing 2,500 into an account. So we're not doing anything, like we're not depositing it monthly, so we're not going to deal with deposits. So for this one, we're actually just going to be using the regular compound interest formula. And that formula, I'll write it down, compound interest is going to be our principal times 1 plus APR divided by n, and then n times y. Okay, so our principal here was 2,500. That's how much we started with. 1 plus our APR was 6%. We're compounding yearly, which means n is going to equal 1. And our exponents are going to be 1 times 4, because we're compounding once in the entire year, and we're trying to do it for 4 years. We go ahead and put this in the calculator. I like to put a parenthesis after the exponent. And that would give us 3,156.19 cents. If there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or unmute. If not, I can go ahead and move on. So yeah, for this one, it's just regular compound interest formula. All right, I'll go ahead and go. The reason why it would be 1 and not 2 is because there's different, depending on how many times you compound it, the n changes. So if you're compounded yearly, n is equal to 1. If you're compounding semi-annually, n equals 2. Yeah, it's in the chat right now. He put it in the chat. But yeah, it just depends on how much times you're accumulating interest over the years. So yearly would be once a year you're getting the interest. So that's why one, semi-annually is twice a year you're getting the interest. And then down the list of quarterly.
Yeah,
And
so n is just your number of compounding periods. So that'll always be kind of given to you. If it's not given to you, you can pretty much assume monthly, but it'll be given to you.
a good question. All right, I'll go ahead and go to the next one then. Okay, to buy a car, you borrow $15,000 with a term of 3 years at an APR of 6.5%. What is your monthly payment? So kind of looking at the question, what is your monthly payment? And then figuring out, okay, what formula do I need to use? All right, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so there was 459, good, but I'll go ahead and go over it. It's only 5 answers. So to borrow a car, you borrow 15,000 with a term of 3 years at an APR of 6%. What is your monthly payment? So in this case, we're gonna need our monthly payment formula. So yeah, making sure looking at the question, what are they asking you, and then it kind of helps you figure out which formula to use. So in this case, we're gonna you do our amount borrowed. Times APR over 12 times 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the n times y. All of that is going to be divided by 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the n times y minus 1. Okay, so in this case, the amount we borrowed was $15,000. Our APR is 6.5%. Go ahead and put 1 plus 0.065 divided by 12. And like I said, I like to put my n times y. I'd like to just calculate that before I put in. So in this case, our n is 12. So n times y, 12 times 3, since our y is 3 years. And that gives us 36. So we can put the 36 at the top. And then all of this is going to be divided by 1 plus 0.065 divided by 12 raised to the 36 minus 1. So yeah, when you go ahead and calculate this, it gives you 459 and 74 cents. So yeah, that's going to be our formula. If there's any questions, go ahead and put in the chat. If not, I will go ahead and move on.
One little comment.
Mhm.
It's a little hard to see. I know there's not too much room on it on the Kahoot screen, but at least for the calculations, maybe we could try to keep those in the white just so people like it's a little
Oh,
hard to see.
okay. Yeah,
No
I'll do.
worries. Thank you. There's no questions, I think.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and go on. Okay, credit card has a balance of $760. You make a payment of $290 and a purchase of $170. The card has an APR of 24%. Find the finance charge. So we're dealing with credit cards.
I apologize that the English is very broken in these questions. I have a character limit when I'm entering the questions into Kahoot, so I have to be. I need to be selective with the words that I use. So find finance just sounds robotic. So sorry about that, guys.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go over this one. So to find our finance charge, it's going to be our percent, so that's our rate of our adjusted balance. So we have to find our adjusted balance before we can find our finance charge. And to find adjusted balance, that formula is going to be our old balance minus our payments. And then we're going to add our purchases that we made. So in this case, our old balance is $760. We're going to subtract our payments of $290. And we're going to add our purchases, which was $170. So once we go ahead and find that, our adjusted balance is going to give us $640. So our adjusted balance is $640. So then to find our finance charge, what we're going to have to do is multiply that by our APR, which is going to be 0.24%. And then that's going to go ahead and give us $15.36. So yeah, to find our finance charge, we have to do our percent of our adjusted balance, but we have to find our adjusted balance before we do that. If there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If not, I will go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, I'll go ahead and move on. Okay, find the sum of a geometric series round to 2 decimal places. So we're finding the sum of the geometric series.
And if it's hard to kind of see, it's basically a geometric series with b equals like 0.5. So it's 1 plus 0.5 to the 1 plus 0.5 to the 2 plus dot, 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 0.5 to the 19. I'm going to find sum of the first 20 terms. Thank you, Nadia.
Mhm. All right. Okay, so we got a few mixed answers here. For this one, we're gonna go ahead and use the geometric sum formula. So S sub k is equal to b to the k minus 1, and then b minus 1 on the bottom. So for this formula, our b is going to be 0.5. And we're going to go ahead and raise that to the 20th power, actually, because when we're writing the sequence out, we start with one less. We're summing it up, so it'd be 0.5 to the 19th, then to the 18th, and so on. So that's why our actual sum that we're accounting for is to the 20th. So we're going to write it like that, minus 1, and then all of that divided by 0.5 minus 1. And that gives you 1.99, I believe. And then once you go ahead and round that up, it gives you 2.00 when you round it to decimal places. So yeah, if there's any questions about that one, go ahead and put in the chat. If there's no questions, I'll go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, I'll go ahead and go on. Okay, use the long-term loan estimation to estimate the monthly payment on a loan of 300,000 at an APR of 6% over 28 years. Okay, so for this one, it is going to be 1,500. We'll go ahead and go over it. So the long-term estimate for loans is going to be your rate times your initial or your loan amount. So in this case, our rate is going to be, our APR is going to be 6%. Well, we're going to write over 12. And then times our initial amount, which was 300,000. And when we calculate that, it gives us 1,500. So yeah, that'll be our long-term loan estimate. I believe the short-term estimate is going to be your initial divided by the number of payments. I don't know if I'm checking on that, Trevor. I think it's like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, the short term. I don't know if you divide it by or.
Yeah, it's the balance divided by the number of payments. That's correct. Because for a short term, we're saying, okay, we're gonna assume we're not accumulating that much interest because we're only gonna borrow it for a short amount of time. So since we're assuming we're not accumulating any interest, then we're just gonna basically pay it off monthly. So we'll see, okay, we're gonna pay at least so if I was paying it off over a year, if I borrowed $1,000 for a year, I'd know that I'd pay basically 1,000 divided by 12 every month, or I'd pay at least 1,000 divided by 12 every single month. But that's completely disregarding interest, but that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, if there's no questions.
So since this one's over 28 years, which is a long term. So if, let's say I was borrowing it for just a year, Viviana, so Viviana says the short term would be 300,000 divided by 12. If I was only borrowing it for that 1 year and I was making monthly payments, yes, that's how you would think about it. Because 28 years is a really long time. We would use the long term one, but yeah, you're thinking about it correct. Good question.
All right. If there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and move on.
I have a question. Can I put the attendance survey in the chat again? Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry, I think I'm funny. That's the
Go ahead.
problem. I'll be quiet. Have fun.
Okay, so your credit card has a balance of $3,000 or $3,500. Assume the credit card charges 12% APR and each month you make minimum payments of 5%. What is the balance after 32 months? So you're making minimum payments and you're trying to find the balance after 32 months. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so we did get a few of the right answers, but I'll go ahead and go on since we got a few different ones. So to find the minimum payments or the balance after you've made minimum payments, we're gonna go ahead and use this formula. Okay, so we're gonna use our minimum payment balance formula, and in that case, we need our initial balance. And that is going to be multiplied by 1 plus APR divided by 12. And then that is also multiplied by 1 minus your minimum payments percent. And then all of that is going to be raised to the T. That's the outside. Yeah, there's the. raising it to the t. So in this case, our initial balance is going to be, I'll write over here, 3,500. 1 plus our APR, which was 12% over 12. That is multiplied by 1 minus our rate of our minimum payment rate, which was 5%. So we could put that as a decimal. And then all of that is going to be raised to the 32 since we're doing it for 32 months. So this is going to be, so after you calculate that, you get $932.20. So after 32 months, the balance is going to be $932.20. So yeah, this is going to be the formula that you would use for minimum payments. Sorry, this is a T for time. But yeah, if there's any questions, you want to go ahead and write them in the chat. And this is 32.
Yeah, and just to kind of connect the two ideas, T is just another way of saying n times y. So it's the number of years times the number of compounding. But in this case, we're given months, so we're already given the number of months or the number of compounding periods. Nice.
All right, so if there's no question, we'll go ahead and go to the next one.
Good job, Super Lion.
You put $100 a month into a retirement account that pays an APR of 10% compounded monthly for 40 years. Find your nest egg. So
So,
no, you're good. Go ahead.
so the key here is knowing we're putting $100 a month into an account. So we're growing that money. We are putting into the retirement account. So don't get tricked, even if it says nest egg. Maybe I gave too much away, but. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Nadia? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Probably makes it more simple.
I see some people are heading out. I know some people have like class around like 4. Please hit the attendance link whenever you can. Just fill out that quick survey. It's just going to ask for email, your student ID, and then just like any feedback you have for improving these in the future. So thank you. Thank you. Feedback. Get that Trevor guy to be quiet. Just kidding. All right. I'll let you guys get back to it.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and move on and go over this one. Okay, so you put $100 a month into a retirement account. Find your nest egg. So in this case, because you're putting $100 each month, we're going to want to use our regular deposits formula. So in that case, regular deposits. That is going to be your deposit. Oh, I don't know why it's writing over. That's weird. It's not showing up on mine.
What is it?
It's like deleting on my iPad, so but on the top, on like my computer, I could see it, but it's like deleting it as soon as I write it.
Try try unsharing and then resharing, because I'm seeing that the number, the time, the countdown is frozen as well. So maybe it's just
I know my screen like turned like weird. I don't know.
oh, okay. Here I could
It's like messing
okay. I'll grab the Kahoot and share it. I know
up.
ideally
I can't even see the buttons anymore. Oh wait, here we go. It's not letting me press them.
okay, no worries. I'll share the rest of it. Darn. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's so weird. Is it not letting you change yours? Because mine, I don't even know where the. Oh wait.
I am just starting it up real quick. Because I don't think I can join the game that you're currently in.
Mm,
Okay. Game options. Okay. I mean, I can share on my screen. I can skip to that question.
okay.
Okay. We are on question. So I'm just going to skip to the question. If you'd like to join the game, it's going to be a new pin. It'll be in the bottom right. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead. Can you see my screen now?
Let me see. I think so, yeah.
Okay. I need at least one person to join, I guess.
On my iPad it's showing, but my computer's messing up. I can't see you on my computer.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here,
Yeah.
let's see. Can you see at least what I'm sharing or no?
I can see it.
Okay, okay.
That's so weird.
Okay, I'm going to just skip these and we'll go to which question we were on? Was it 17?
Yeah, 17.
Okay. Sorry about this, everyone. Minor technical difficulties. In the meantime, the attendance survey is in the chat. Feel free to take a sec and fill that out. Feedback, less technical difficulties. No, I'm just kidding. This happens. We're getting through it. Here's a quick refresh of all the old problems you know and love, the classics. Who could forget 6 out of 19? What a good question that was, right? Do we get something in the chat? What's the code to get in? Question. It is 3825193. Here, I'm just going to actually send that to everyone. So this is the new Kahoot code. Okay, I see some people are getting in. Right on. Where did I just get notified? Oh. Okay, Dr. Barsky just let me know some of the credit card stuff. Oh, the credit card stuff wasn't covered until this week. So don't worry about that. Let it be kind of an intro to it. Sorry about that. That one setting it up. It's helpful for me to know though. Question 16. Okay, thank you, Joey. And then Nadia, are you able to, I'll allow annotation, but is your iPad working?
My iPad works, but not my computer. It's like glitched. Like I can see you in the corner, but I can't see anything else.
Okay,
So I don't know. Yeah, it's not letting me click anything.
I'm sorry.
I can't even mute myself. So that's why I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we can,
I could turn it off and leave it maybe, but that might end the meeting since I'm the host. I don't know.
I think we're good. Like, okay, so is this the one you guys, yeah, this is the one you guys are working on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I can do it off my iPad. So for this one, we're gonna do. Oh, do I have to do the annotations? Because I don't think I can enable them on your side.
I just enabled them. Can you do it now?
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Cool.
All right. So for this one, we're gonna do the regular deposits formula. Okay, for that one, it's going to be our deposit times 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the n times y minus 1, and all of that divided by APR over 12. And in this case, our deposit was $100. Not $1,000. $100 times 1 plus, it like zoomed in for me. What's the APR? It's like
The
super zoomed in.
APR is 10%.
Okay, APR, oh, there we go. 10%. Okay, 10 over 12, because it's compounded monthly. Our N is still 12. And then our Y is going to be 40, since it's for 40 years, minus 1. And then all of that is going to be divided by our APR over 12, which is 0.10 divided by 12. And then once you go ahead and solve that, it gives you, I think, 632,407.96. So yeah, our nest egg would be 632,000. So after depositing $100 for 40 years, you would be at 632,000.
So Kylie asked, why wouldn't it be 0.01? So the APR is 10%, and 10% we move the decimal place twice to the left gives us 0.10. Oh, I see. Okay, Sydney said that. Thank you, Sydney. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, even better. Oh, and a note from Dr. Barsky, the stuff about credit cards, so finance charges, any references to credit cards, those will not be on Friday's exam. You guys will cover that this week to go, and it'll be on the final, but it will not be on this third exam. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Cool. I think we are good to, oh, it's me, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's good. Okay, so we can afford payments of $350 per month for 4 years. What's the largest amount of loan we can get at an APR of 5%? So we're trying to see how much money we can borrow if we can afford monthly payments of $350.
I'm going to skip this.
Okay, so we can afford payments of 350 per month. What is the largest amount of loan we can get? So for this one, we're gonna have to go ahead and use the monthly payment formula, but we're gonna have to reverse it. So in this case, our monthly payment formula is going to be, or I'll just write, I'm gonna write the reverse, so it won't take up as much room. So the amount borrowed formula, which is just the monthly payment formula reversed, is going to be your monthly payment times 1 plus APR over 12 raised to the n times y minus 1. All of that is going to be divided by APR over 12 times 1 plus APR over 12 to the n times y. If you notice, if you have the monthly payment formula that I wrote down earlier, everything that was on the denominator is now going to be moved to the top as being multiplied, and everything that was being multiplied by monthly payment is, or by amount borrowed, is going to be on the denominator. So everything kind of flip-flopped. So in this case, our monthly payment was $350. We're going to multiply that by 1 plus our APR was 5% over 12 raised to the n times y. Our n is 12. Our y is 4 because we're doing it for 4 years. Put a line through it. Minus 1. And then all of that is going to be divided by our APR over 12, which is 0.05 divided by 12, times our 1 plus APR divided by 12. Again, our n times y, which is 12 times 4. So yeah, this is just, I'll box it so it's a little bit separate. Yeah, so we reverse the monthly payment formula to find our amount borrowed. In that case, we can borrow 15,198 and 3 cents if we can afford monthly payments of $350. So yeah. If there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Even though I can't see them, but
Cool. I'm monitoring. I don't see any questions, so I'll hit next.
okay.
Oh, I will skip this one because they are not doing credit card. Kylie asked a really good question. Do we have to memorize the formula for monthly payment? I believe so at least in the past, what has been given to you is like the formula for the monthly payment, the formula for the monthly annuity yield, and the formula for APY. You should be able to reverse the formula. So find the reciprocal or divide the formula to find its reverse to use it, but you'll at least be given the original formula. So you'll be given monthly payment if you if let's see, do we have enough time to do the reverse? Maybe at the end you can show on the whiteboard how to find the reverse of the formula.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, cool. Thank you for asking. Great question. Let's see, what's number 19? Okay.
You want to retire on a 25-year annuity paying $4,100 a month with an APR of 7.2% compounded monthly. What size nest egg? So what is the size of your nest egg? If you want to retire on 25 annuity with you getting $4,100 a month. So there's gonna be a formula that you'll need for this one.
So, yeah. Well, I have to leave here pretty soon just because I have class at 4. But I'm gonna put the attendance link in the chat. And before I go, I just wanted to thank you guys all for coming. I know we're still gonna go for a little bit longer. Well, a few minutes longer. This is the last question, but I just wanted to thank you guys for coming and wish you guys good luck. The STEM Success Center will be open in person Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and online Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we have some tutoring available for you guys. We definitely want to help out, and thank you guys for taking the initiative and attending something outside of class. I know that sometimes extra things, it feels like we don't have time for them, but it's these extra activities where you're engaging with the material, where you're practicing and getting it. So thank you for doing that for yourself. I think that's really rad. Cool. And I'm actually gonna skip this one just so Nadia can explain it before I gotta go.
Okay. Okay, so you want to retire on 25-year annuity. What is the size nest egg that you need? So we're going to use our annuity yield formula, but we're going to go ahead and reverse it so we can find our nest egg. So we're reversing our monthly annuity yield formula to find nest egg. And so that would be your monthly yield multiplied by R1 plus APR divided by 12 to the n times y minus 1. All of that is going to be divided by APR divided by 12 times 1 plus APR divided by 12 raised to the n times y. And that's it for that one. So if we're going to go ahead and plug everything in, our monthly yield would be 4,100. We're going to multiply that by 1 plus our APR, which was 7.2%. Divide that by 12. Our n times y is going to be 12 times 25, because we want to do it for 25 years. And then we're going to subtract 1. All of that divided by, let's separate this. Our APR over 12, which was 0.072 divided by 12 times 1 plus 0.072 divided by 12 raised to the n times y, which is 12 times 25. Close those parentheses. We just need one. Yeah, when you go ahead and find this, you get 569,769 and 93 cents. So if you have a nest egg of $569,000 and 569,769, you could expect to receive $4,100 a month. I do see a chart. So this is the reversed monthly or reverse annuity yield formula, I believe.
Yeah, reverse monthly annuity yield formula.
Monthly annuity yield.
So they might give you the monthly annuity yield formula, and in order to reverse it, all you would need to do is basically multiply by the reciprocal. So basically everything in the denominator would go in the numerator of the other side, and everything in the numerator would go in the denominator of the other side. I have to run to class. I will let you finish this out if you need to, Nadia. Do you have time or
Yeah, I
guess we're
can.
pretty much done.
Did you want me to just show like how to reverse it?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't because my Zoom's still not working, so I can't really like.
Oh, okay.
But I could see it off my iPad, I guess, and my sound's still working. So, yeah, I don't know.
Alrighty. We will have the another review session from 4 p.m. to 5:30 on Thursday. So we invite you to come to that. We'll go over the same questions, but it's still a good opportunity to test yourself to see if you know which formulas apply to which situation, and if needed, we can go over how to reverse a formula in that session. Just because. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. It's hard. You can't predict these. So thank you guys for coming. I think we'll end it here. But again, thank you guys for coming. I'll fill out the link if you haven't. All right. Thank you, Nadia. That was awesome. Good work.
Thank you. I don't know how. Hopefully, when you end the Zoom, it ends the Zoom on my side.
Okay. I think I can claim host from you. I'm pretty sure. Oh, crud. Here, stop the recording.